An IRA custodian is pretty much a bank or financial institution. It's funny because the word custodian causes a lot of confusion to a lot of people. I get a lot of questions from lawyers, doctors, people that are sophisticated investors. And one of the first questions they ask is, okay, I understand this whole self-directed IRA thing. I know you can do alternative assets. I know I can buy real estate. But what's a custodian? What is that? Like, why can't I just use Wells Fargo or Schwab? That's a bank. Why do I need a special custodian? Well, the answer is Schwab and Wells Fargo are also custodians. A bank and custodian is pretty much the same thing. It's synonymous with each other. It's pretty much a synonym of one another. A custodian is a bank. A bank could be a custodian. Wells Fargo is a custodian, Schwab's a custodian, Vanguard is a custodian, Bank of America is a custodian, but IRA Financial Trust is also a custodian, but we're not a bank. So I want to just kind of focus on that a little bit more. So a custodian is pretty much a bank or financial institution, and this is under Section 408 in the Internal Revenue Code, which describes who could establish an IRA. So basically says that a bank or financial institution can, as well as a trust company, authorized under state law to administer IRAs, also known as a custodian. And the whole idea of custodian is basically custody, right? They're the custody or the custodial of your IRA assets. So basically, it's not something to get totally worked up on, because all it means is that as long as you're using a bank or financial institution or an IRS-approved trust company or state chartered trust company that's authorized under state law to administer IRAs, you can have an IRA with that party. So, for example, the traditional banks and financial institutions like Wells Fargo, Bank of America Chase, Vanguard, Fidelity, they will satisfy the definition of 408, and you can have an IRA with them. Also, IRA Financial Trust and Equity Trust, for example, are chartered in South Dakota, and South Dakota law allows these types of trust companies to administer IRAs. Thus, the requirement under 408 is satisfied. So IRA Financial or Equity Trust will be able to administer your IRAs. So you can have a bank custodian, or you can just have a custodian. IRA Financial Trust and Equity Trust, we're not banks. So you're not going to have your money with us. You're not going to get a debit card or a credit card, an ATM, go to an ATM and see IRA Financial Trust there. We use a separate bank to be our bank. We use a bank called Northern Trust, which is a publicly traded bank that's been around since the 1800s, to be our bank. But we're simply the custodian. We do all the IRS administration as per Section 408 of the tax code. And we will administer your IRA and do all IRS reporting, but we're not a bank. Whereas Chase and Wells Fargo, they're our bank and they could be your IRA custodian. But when you do a self-directed IRA, a truly self-directed IRA, what I mean is a self-directed IRA that will let you do alternative asset investments like real estate or cryptocurrencies or precious metals or tax liens or private placements, you're going to need to use probably a non-bank, non-financial institution custodian. Why? Because the banks like Wells Fargo, or the financial institutions like Vanguard, they don't make money when you buy real estate or do alternative asset investments. So they're not really interested in being the custodian of those assets. They're going to tell you, and their IRA client agreement or custodial agreement will say, no, we're not going to let you buy real estate or hard money loans or debt with your IRA. Not because it's not allowed, but we don't make money when you buy real estate with your IRA or cryptocurrency, so why should we let you do it? And that's their right, and they don't have to let you do anything they don't want to. Even though it's allowed by the IRS, they're not required to do so. They could carve out what they allow and do not allow you to do in your IRA. They are allowed to do so as the custodian. By the same token, IRA Financial and Equity Trust are allowed and able to allow you to do alternative assets like real estate, so long as the transaction is approved by the compliance department and doesn't violate 408 and 4975 in the Internal Revenue Code, pretty much. Life insurance contracts, collectibles like art, and self-dealing transactions under 4975 involving the IRA owner or a disqualified person, which is essentially a lineal descendant or an entity associated with such persons, you can do it. And you can open the account at a self-directed IRA custodian if you want to do alternative assets, or at a bank IRA custodian if you want to do traditional. They're both custodians. You still need the requirement of a bank or custodian. You can't open your IRA and hold it at Wendy's or McDonald's or Walmart or Target or Saks Fifth Avenue or Sears, or even in your house. You still need that bank, financial institution, or self-directed IRA custodian like IRA Financial Trust. But it doesn't have to be one or the other. You can use Chase or Wells Fargo for traditional investments. You can do Equity Trust or IRA Financial for alternative. You don't need to use one or the other. You can use both. But again, the traditional guys aren't going to let you do alternative assets. And you don't probably want to invest traditional with alternative asset custodians because it doesn't make a lot of sense. No need to spend the fees for an alternative custodian when you can do it probably more cost effectively with a Chase. So, but in sum, you need an IRA custodian, whether it's a bank or a special self-directed IRA custodian. You need a company, financial institution, bank, trust company under state law that is authorized for you, and will allow you to establish an IRA with them. You can't just open an IRA on your own or with Walmart or Kentucky Fried Chicken. You need to have a bank, financial institution, or a trust company authorized under state law to administer IRA. The IRS is very interested, and they want to make sure that whoever has your IRA is responsible for reporting it accurately, and they know they can get the necessary information they need from either a 5498 or 1099, which the IRA custodian is required to do. So all in all, having an IRA custodian is not super confusing or anything. It's basically a bank, financial institution, or a special trust company authorized under state law to administer IRAs. Got a whole wide range of great companies to choose from. Fees have come down considerably, and choose wisely, make a good decision, do research, be diligent, check fees out, make sure you're comfortable with the custodian. There's a lot of great ones out there, and enjoy your journey if you're going to self-direct